Coming to you live from Geekly Studios in DeSoto, Texas. Coming to you live from Geekly Esports Studios in DeSoto, Texas. King David Reeves and the MentorConnector podcast present another mentor moment. Great day, great mentors. Rise and grind. It's time to shine. Welcome to another very special episode of the MentorConnector podcast here on the Geek Leads Esports Masterclass. I'm your host, King David Reeves, of course, and I am here with another very special guest today, a good friend and brother of mine, and most importantly, my birthday twin, ladies and gentlemen. Right. That's right. That's why we're coming to you live and in full effect. Our birthday is tomorrow, so we're bringing it in together, man, and just talk about some of the greatness that has made him who he is today. We're also going to talk to you about something that many of you need to know about, though you may not be aware of, that's happening in the best Southwest with a lot of young professionals and emerging leaders, no pun intended, and just hearing his story of how he got to where he is and being in position as pretty much, I say the right-hand man, Senator Cruz himself, and I know he's connected to so many other great people that we probably can't even talk about on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. But his good brother of mine, who I want to make sure y'all get a valuable life lesson out of today, but also we just have some fun as we bring in our birthdays together. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show my brother and friend, Mr. Michael Anthony Flusche, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me, David. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Thank you for being on the show, brother, and bringing in our birthdays together. Jim and I do it the right way.
That's right.
And then we do it the wrong way as well at the same time.
Depending on which one of us you're talking to.
Exactly. Exactly. So how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. How about you?
Same here, man. Same here. I'm glad and grateful to the Lord to see another year, man.
Yes.
And I really didn't want to do anything special with everything going on post-COVID, coming out the tail end of COVID-19, yeah. Hopefully. But I was like, you know what? He's been too good to us, man, to miss out on the opportunity to just show everyone how grateful we are for all that he keeps doing for us. And I mean, this podcast alone has been a huge blessing to me, and what our partnership with Geek Leads has been, and just mentoring on a virtual level now, and bringing in powerful individuals like yourself, heavy hitters like you, to share your story, so the youth I work with can see, okay, it's not a cookie cutter path to success.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not easy. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's not some kind of magic trick. And so it's been a true blessing, man. And so I'm thankful for you being here, man, and thank you for bringing in your birthday with me, man, because you could have been anywhere else in the world right now.
But why would I not want to be here, huh? At 9:30 at night? No.
Why not, man? Why not? I didn't want to go to midnight like I usually do.
Thank you. God bless you.
We're getting a little older too, man. We're getting a little older. I'm 3-2 on the 2-3.
Yeah.
And you're where are you going to be at, my brother?
44.
Man, big 4-4.
So I'm just glad my heart's still beating. Thank you, Jesus.
Man. Right. You're not that old though, man. It's not. That's a good age, man.
I'll be okay.
Because I really want to pick your mind to see what it feels like 12 years down the road. You're same age as my oldest cousin, and at the same time, my wife's stepdad is like younger than y'all. So it's kind of it's cool, but a weird position at the same time.
Interesting to say the least.
Yes, indeed. So I'm just trying to let you share your story of how you got to where you are, and share your background with the people, because I mean, I didn't go into you being from DeSoto, so this is home sweet home for you. I know your parents live like right up the street.
That's right.
And graduating from there, and then UTA. I didn't want to go into all that because I want you to kind of share your background, upbringing, so you can let the people know how you got to where you are in life and how do you become as great as you are,
Yeah.
Brother
Well,
Flusche.
Ask whatever you want, but we'll start from the beginning, huh? When I was a kid, how about that?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I
Yeah.
know it might have been some time ago for you, man.
Yeah, well, I am a proud DeSoto native, born and raised, and graduated DeSoto High School in 1995. Both of my parents raised in Oak Cliff. My dad graduated Jesuit when it was actually still in Oak Lawn before it moved to North Dallas. My mom graduated South Oak Cliff. Dad grew up in Winnetka Heights, and mom grew up.
Oh, you got to slow down right there. You said your mom graduated from South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff. That's right.
Oh man. I did see some of their alum, and I can understand why.
Yeah,
but it's still cool to put
that was a while back. That was a while back.
It's still cool to be able to say you're a Golden Bear.
Yeah.
With they have a powerful alumni, man. Shout out to SOC. We've been doing a lot of community service efforts with them because they're always in their community liaison.
Absolutely.
Derek Betty is actually the first one who did an interview with for our YouTube channel.
Oh, really?
So shout out to him. He's like the mayor of South Oak Cliff, man. He's a former NBA player, solid brother, and just constantly involved in the community in SOC and out in the community as well, advocating for them. And that's how he's a big part of the reason why they got that new $65 million school, man.
That's right. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, man. I got to take you over there. You need to talk to some of those kids, man. Let them know, let them know you.
I'll bring my mom, who just turned 79, with me. She can come and tell them, back in the day, this is what happened.
So I was in your very seats.
That's right.
That'd be awesome, man. Okay, so continue, please.
Yeah, so just I grew up in one house my entire life. We knew all the neighbors. We knew all the kids on my street, 3 streets down, played football, rode bikes. It was just a great sense of community. And so I love that I can say I knew my neighbors, they knew me. If I pulled out of the driveway and I had a low tire, our neighbor Billy, son, your tire's low. Let me show you how to air this up. Wow. So that's just the kind of neighborhood I grew up in.
In the days where you could do that, man.
And my parents are still in the same house almost 50 years later, 40-something years later.
Wow, man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. And we don't see enough of that still happening today.
Yeah.
I think that will produce a whole lot more great individuals like yourself if that were happening. Yeah. So were you in the neighborhood where the neighbor could take off their belt and take care of you if you're doing stuff you weren't supposed to be doing?
Oh, absolutely. Not only that, corporal punishment, they'd be calling my parents immediately. No wait until I got home. They're on the phone. I want to say both me and my sister at different times, she's about 16 months younger than me, tried to sneak out. And literally each time as we're climbing out a window, the neighbor was already on the phone calling our parents. So we never made it even.
Because a lot of fun.
We didn't even make it out the window. That's how nosy our neighbors are.
Man, that couldn't have been too exciting, but that's good though. It's good.
Yep.
On the adult side, that's healthy. It's very much needed.
Yeah.
I'm sure as a kid it wasn't the most exciting though.
No, not exciting.
And so, did you always have an interest in politics growing up, man? Like, where did that come from? Where did that start?
You know, it was interesting. No, it wasn't until the end of high school. I liked history, I liked economics, and to me, politics kind of fell right in the middle.
Right.
And I graduated high school in '95 and immediately started talking and didn't even know how. I just knew I was going to go to City Hall. I was going to talk to the mayor. I was going to talk to the city council. I didn't know anything about how any of that worked, but I just thought, I'm going to go talk to him.
And this was what grade?
It'd been freshman year in high school, in college, freshman year. So 1996 for me, but I was a freshman in college.
Okay, yeah, that's where I started. My ears started perking up to politics myself, because I had like met Senator West, been to City Hall in high school. I think it was a part of shout out Air Force JRTC at Cedar Hill, of course. You know, the better high school, but we're not going to get into all that.
I don't know about that. we'll see who's won more.
Got a lot of friends and family in DeSoto, so I'm not mad at y'all.
There you go. You're half and half.
But and church home in DeSoto as well.
That's right.
But I literally didn't even realize that was politically related. I don't know if that makes sense, but as a high school student, I truly didn't understand the importance of politics, so I didn't even realize what all politics had their hand in. And it wasn't until college and really into my 20s, well into my 20s, where I was like, oh man, like politics is in everything. So there's no sense in running from it or trying to say, oh, I'm not political. It's like, yeah, we're all political because you believe in certain things and certain values, or you believe things should happen a certain way, be done a certain way. And the people who you vote or who you don't vote into office are the ones who determine how that actually gets carried out.
Yep,
so
that's right.
So I just was curious for someone like yourself who's been in politics for a minute now. About how long have you been in?
Oh my gosh! So what? 95 to 2000.
Oh, literally, so like 20, soon as you graduated.
20-something years. Yeah.
Oh wow, man!
Since I graduated high school.
Wow.
And I kept applying for different boards and committees, and one of the first ones I applied for was the DeSoto Economic Development Corporation. What the heck does somebody who's freshman in college know anything about economic development, tax abatements, incentives, commercial real estate? But I remember one of the city council women liked me, and it's not that she took me under her wing, but she just thought, okay, I'm just going to keep an eye on this young kid.
Yeah.
And so I talked to her after the meeting. I said, okay, so I don't qualify for this. It's obvious during the interview process I didn't know anything about anything. But that's the one thing about youth. Life hadn't beaten me down yet, so I didn't know what I didn't know. So
blissful ignorance.
That's right. I wasn't afraid to keep trying.
Yeah, that's a major, hugely important lesson.
Yeah.
Our younger audience needs to make sure they pay attention to.
So I came back maybe 6 months later, applied for the planning and zoning. Didn't get that. Finally, I went to the mayor at the time and I said, okay, and this is my exact words. I said, okay, mayor, what could an idiot apply for? And he laughed at me. He goes, well, let me show you something else that I think you're better fit for. And it was the library board.
Wow. And you went straight to the mayor.
Yeah. Well, he happened to be at City Hall at the time. And he interviewed me along with the city council for 2 other boards and committees. So they kind of knew of me. They couldn't get away from me. Here's this little kid keeps showing up at City Hall. So we're like, okay, we're going to teach you about something. You go sit in the corner and you listen to us.
You just listen and learn.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
But you were ferocious and put yourself in the meetings. You put yourself in the room in the first place.
Correct.
And a lot of people were too scared, too afraid to do that.
And I'd say more than half the meeting, I still didn't know what they talked about. But I just knew I was interested. And how the decisions were made, who made the decisions, how much is being spent. And it took, I'd say, several years to figure some of that out. It depended on certain parts. It took longer on some things to figure out. Others were easier.
And I'm sure you still don't understand a good deal of things, but the more you're in it, the more you know, just like with anything.
Well, I ask questions. People are so afraid to ask questions.
Bingo.
I don't care if you think I'm an idiot, but I'm going to ask you, how did you get to this number? What's the data you're using? Why did you vote for this? How did you arrive at your decision? I'm not afraid to ask those questions, and I don't think anybody should be.
They shouldn't be, but I feel like being an inexperienced person when it comes to politics, that I often watch people who give their opinions based off of other people's opinions that are usually improper, incorrect, not factually based at all, or just somebody throwing it out there as propaganda, or somebody just trying to down talk or downplay. And it's like, man, people really don't care to pay attention to anything but whatever is the media sensationalism out there. Like unless it's entertaining, I don't believe it. Like,
okay, so
I'm not going to do my own research.
Yeah, you're right. So in high school, I loved Howard Stern. I would actually put my cassette deck, my radio, I would record, and whatever the longest,
taking it back.
What was the longest a tape could record back then? An hour and a half?
I believe so. It was a little before my time, but I was right there. I was on the cusp.
I remember when I'd leave high school or the house every morning for school, I would hit record so I could hear more Howard Stern when I came home. But that was when Howard was considered a true shock jock. And we won't go into what made him that way. But I think so many of the political pundits, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, what TV show you're watching, if you're not controversial, like Howard was 30 years ago, you don't get ratings, you don't get likes on social media, you don't get your book, you don't get your book deal, you don't get flown around on a private plane to your private speaking engagement.
So we got to be controversial, man. So we got to do some kind. Maybe I got to flip the table. Maybe that's what it is.
I take everything all these people say with a grain of salt, and I research, talk to other people I trust, talk to people across who I trust but who disagree, and
Yeah.
try to come to you got the truth, you got the lies, and in the middle you got what's the saying? I can't remember. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say.
There's two sides of the story, and the truth lies
Yes,
somewhere in the middle.
there you go. Thank you, David.
I got you. My Gemini brother. That's what we do. So it's. I can only imagine being in politics for 20 years, like 2 decades, how frustrating that can be that people still aren't doing their own research, especially with Google allowing everybody to be a potential research guru. Like, you don't have to just believe the lies that media tells you or puts out there as propaganda.
Yeah.
But yet and still people will hop on the bandwagon. They'll keep sharing the same posts that their friends shared.
Yeah.
That's incorrect. And so I'm frustrated because me personally, I'm always on both sides of whatever issue. See both sides of every story, both sides of the fence. I agree with both conservative and liberal values, depending on the topic.
Correct.
So it's like there's no perfect party, no perfect political party. So someone like myself, which I know plenty of people like me, who you have your Christian values that usually align with the conservative party, but then culturally and ethnicity-wise, the Democratic or liberal viewpoints are usually trying to force upon you that you need to agree with them if you're black. If you're black at all, you better agree with the Democratic Party or else.
You said that. I didn't say that.
Right. For the record.
Yeah.
This is just me saying. This is me speaking, y'all. And this is after doing research and you want to be an independent somewhere in the middle. And I tend to vote for who my friends vote for, because I respect all these different people in the community who are telling me who they get behind, and then I also see the politicians that are in the community doing the real work, and I could almost at that point I could almost care less what their political party is. And it's like, you're doing the work. I see you actually impacting the community over here, and you're actually reaching back to the kids over here. This is where my heart is. I'm voting for you. Yeah. But it's still, I imagine the frustration of man, I don't even know how to put it into words. The frustration from your perspective, because I'm new into this and realizing how important politics is, but the frustration of wanting people to know the truth or the facts. Yeah. But yet and still media is controlling the narrative. Oh, yeah. Whether good or bad or in your favor or not. Yep. How do you deal with all that, man?
Well, number one, politics is my passion. It's my hobby. I happen to have a job, thank the Lord, that is a hobby I get paid for. I am happy every single day of I am not stressed going to my office or my job or traveling the state doing what I do and working who I work for. So number one, that I love it. So I can't, there's nothing that bothers me about politics. Now, I think both, whether you're in the Republican or Democrat Party, you're involved enough, you volunteer enough, it will eat you up and spit you out, depending on, you see the trends go in different ways over the different years and decades. But I think, too, the thing that I did was sit down, and I read the Green Party platform, the Libertarian platform, the Democrat, and the Republican.
So you did the research on all the platforms.
Yeah, I kind of knew which way I leaned already, but I thought, no, let me go online and or call this person, have them mail me their actual platform. And so I had out the main two, the Democrat and the Republican, and I had way more checks on the Republican side, way more X's on the Democrat. Not that there weren't some good things about the Democrat Party, but I had way more checks.
Yeah, when you're looking at the balance. Yeah. And so and for you, so for me growing up in the African American community predominantly, or African American Hispanic. Yeah. Of course, my network was way more liberal. So a lot of the friends and people I respect share those views, but then going to Texas A&M, got introduced to a whole lot of conservative friends, and I was like, "Oh, man, A&M. Okay, all right." And at first, because of how I grew up, who I grew up around, I wanted to fight that. I wanted to resist, and I want to disagree because I'm like, man, you just think that way because you grew up around a bunch of people who believe what you believe, or who look like you.
Yes.
And so, was your environment, because you said you lined up the platforms, was your environment determined based off, or your political stance determined based off of your upbringing and having a similar network of family and friends? Because
yes and no. And growing up in DeSoto, I had a very diverse friend group. I went to Catholic school, kindergarten through 8th grade at St. Elizabeth in Oak Cliff. So I had Asian, Hispanic, African-American friends since kindergarten, many of them who I still talk to today, and I'm on multiple group texts that can be very annoying that I can't delete myself from.
Don't you love those?
Yeah, so I saw different groups sometimes would align, and that's what made me think, I don't want to, just because my parents said this, or my pastor or priest said this, I want to read for it myself. I want to educate myself. And this was not an overnight thing. This was probably a year, 2-year process that it took, because I had real life. I had parties, I had school, I had more important things to worry about, right?
Right.
But over this time, I was reading and trying to, okay, here's an issue that's important to me. Here's an issue. Let me research this issue.
Okay.
Am I really in the middle? Am I more on the left? Am I more on the right? And over time, I could tell you why I believe what I believe. It wasn't my skin color. It wasn't my parents. It wasn't my religion.
And that's good.
It was, here's why I believe what I believe.
And that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
And how do you tell someone who's in a younger person in our audience, or that is trying to figure out what side of the fence to be on? Like, how do you tell them to do that research properly and authentically, so they're not just biased even going into research, like I feel so many people are?
Well, I do this every day, all the time. This is just something that comes second nature to me. I don't care what age you are. And to back up, you were talking about leadership, and then whether it's mentorship or leadership, I was with a leadership organization. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I won't say which organization, nor will I identify what part of town, DFW, we were coming from, not to call anybody out. But I'm on a bus of elected officials, community leaders, business owners, people everybody would look up to in a community. And there was about 50 or 60 of us on a bus heading down to Austin for the political day, so they could show people how politics works, bills get made, yada, yada. On the bus, I spoke about the United States Constitution, and I asked the 50 to 60 people on the bus to raise their hand and I had a copy for everybody. And I said, I want a show of hands. How many people have read this? 4 or 5 people out of 50 or 60 people raised.
Man.
And that's just like,
scary.
Wait, you're a mayor, you're a city councilman, you're a school board member. How is this possible? These are 50, 60, 70-year-old people.
Oh,
and
man.
What I thought too.
So they've had time to read the Constitution.
Yeah, and these were people I knew, mixed races, socioeconomic, and ages, and especially some of the conversations we had with the females and the African Americans who actually had to fight for the right to vote. People who look like me, the white men, we've always had the right to vote, and it was interesting to talk to people. Hey, is there a reason you're not voting? And I realize we live in an imperfect world run by humans. We're not perfect. But the United States Constitution and Declaration of Independence is still other countries have tried to copy our form of government, and that's why people want to come to America. There is no other dream except the American dream. So when you look at what our founding fathers came up with, while they are imperfect humans, the document itself there's nothing like it in the entire world. And so it was interesting the conversations we were having, and especially elected officials who said they hadn't read it. This is what you take your oath of office on, but yet you haven't read the document. And so I think it's interesting to read that document. And it's kind of like the Bible. Sometimes you read it, or a history book, your eyes cross, you fall asleep. What does this really mean to me? So take a few times.
Right. But you don't give up on reading it.
No.
Pick it back up.
20 minutes a day. Put it down, read 20 minutes tomorrow. And then from there,
and if
that's
more
when
people did that.
I tell people of all ages too, hey, here's the copy of the Republican Party platform, Democrat Party. Put checks and X's, highlight it, dog ear it, highlight it. What do you need to do so then you actually can tell not just other people, but yourself, here's why I am, who I am, and why I believe what I believe. So to me, something just as basic like you do with school kids. Here's the book, now go read it.
Right, and see that's what we're missing, and because they don't teach that in school, and they educate our students on so many other things that they really may or may not need after graduation. But politics, you learn about the history, but it would be so much more helpful to have a class that would say, hey, where do you stand? Where do you follow? Who do you most line up with?
And what I do too,
morals.
And I've met several young females recently who all know you through some of your mentorship world and leadership training, and they've actually Yeah, they've actually called me to have lunch, and I truly want it to be organic because they want to learn more about politics. And like you said,
See, and it's funny because I respect you so much, brother, because you have positioned yourself, but really unknowingly, I already know you don't realize it, as a go-to source for my minority friends and network, especially a lot of millennials, to look up to from all different ethnicities, age, range, walks of life, background, career interests, or in college, to go to is like, hey, Flusche, hey, Mike, what do you think about this? Somebody said, and it doesn't matter if they are even of the same political party as you are, they still see you as almost an expert advisor in it. And I think that is partially to do with your upbringing of being comfortable around any ethnicity. Any room you walk into, you're fully yourself. Whether or not they embrace you, you could care less, and I'm similar. And you're still gonna have fun and enjoy and be you authentically. But I really want to give you props and hats off to you for just being that, because I see, which is very difficult in our communities, that because nobody wants to talk politics, just like nobody wants to talk religion. But I see people coming to you as an advisor. And do you get that quite often? And what would you say is the reason for that?
Well, I really do think this is my ministry. Politics is my ministry, and I think
that's powerful.
God has put me where He is for a reason. And number one, I love people. I will talk to a brick. I'm going to talk to this step and repeat behind me before I leave. So I will talk to anybody. I don't care what part of town I am, what state, city I'm in. I love people. Tell me about yourself, how you got to where you are. Do you like the Cowboys or not? No. And
bottom line.
So people see the honesty, the transparency. And it's funny, I'll be in rooms with all kinds of people that I'm like, I'm in awe of. And they could be on the lower socioeconomic, they could be on the high end. And I'm like, okay, God, why am I here? We ain't got nothing in common. I don't even know what they're talking about. But they're leaning into me. They're inviting me to come to this and that. So I know this is truly a God thing. And I think the people who they see that I'm not trying to force anything down their throat. Here's who I am. Here's what I believe.
And that's the best part.
You can agree or disagree, but also go do your own research. And I have a feeling you might agree with me on more things than you think you do.
Then you will realize if you quit listening to what the news tells you is the best way for you to vote and look at life.
Yeah.
And did you is that how you found Initiative 72, Initiative Network?
Oh my gosh, this story I love.
Which is where we met, ladies and gentlemen. So
That's right. That's right. And now I can't get rid of David. He follows me everywhere.
It's part of life.
But it's like I told you when I met you. Follow me, I'll take you places. No.
And it's happened, man. We're here, man. We are here. Hey, shout out Grant Skelton.
Yes, shout out to Grant Skelton, who's absolutely incredible, and I love that guy. This guy has
he's alright, man. He's alright.
He has gotten me invited to different parts of the world that I've been on planes going to cities and countries that I can't even imagine.
But it's because you're already famous. What about us, Grant? What about us who ain't famous yet?
Help David out,
I'm going to drink to that, Grant.
He needs a hookup. That's right. We'll both drink. Cheers. Cheers to Grant. Hold on. Let's take a sip.
Shout out. He did have a powerful vision, though. Man.
Yeah. So I went to their original meeting, which was somewhere over by the Redbird Mall area. I can't remember. Was it the old Concord Church or?
You're saying original meeting with who?
With Grant. Grant, when he did his initial initiative meeting, and there were 400 to 500 millennials of every race. You had your you had your punk rocker kid, you had your skateboarder, you had your whatever. You had every kind of style kid there. Every Christian denomination was represented. I was like, now this is what heaven really looks like.
That's what it's supposed to be.
I knew that Grant knew the Bible and he was ready to tackle issues that most millennials weren't. So I thought, you know what? I want you to know, Grant, that you have. So I called him and his buddies. Most of them were at DBU at the time. And I said, here, meet me in my office and let's just come talk, whatever we want to talk about. But I just want you to know you got somebody who's going to back you up. Here's what I believe, and if this is what you believe, I want to put people in front of you. Number one, I'll put people in front of you anyway, Christian leaders, and try to open those doors. But I want you to know that I'm here to back you up on specific issues if and when you need that. And so there was
Solid,
just
man.
and I don't want to be around people who look and think and act just like me. So I love that Grant was younger, came from a
Yeah.
different type of family, and he was hip and cool. I'm this dorky white, this preppy white kid who's, don't know nothing about nothing.
you're pretty cool, man, and you're swole, man. So I gotta
Okay.
I gotta remember to sit up and flex my muscles.
Well, thanks
So
to
I can
COVID, I haven't
earn my
I haven't
shirt.
lifted a weight in 2 months, so I don't know about how
yeah.
swole. I'm losing some weight. That's too
man,
far
you
because all I'm
tripping.
doing
You
is
tripping. You
cardio.
got-
How about you?
Push-ups, cardio.
Okay.
And my parents got some weights in the garage. Man, you gotta come on, man. It can't be man. You 44 now, man. You
I
can't-
know. I
you
can't
got-
afford
you
to
got-
miss out on lifting some weights.
You gotta look like The Rock. He's 48. You gotta make sure you stay with
Well,
all
this
your
is-
veins and popping out.
It's
All
funny.
that.
Normally, I love to bulk. I work out so I can eat whatever the heck I want. Now, this is what's the opposite of bulking? The dieting. Yeah.
Lean,
Leaning.
slimming.
Yes. So I will go jog and walk in my neighborhood, but for some reason, lifting weights at home, which I have some, I can't get motivated to do
feel
that.
right,
I
yeah.
have to leave the house to do whatever I want to
Yep.
do. So I've been
It's
jogging.
it's
yeah.
definitely mental.
So I've been
And that's why
jogging 4 or
even
5
just-
miles a day.
Oh wow. Well, that's
So I'm
good
actually
too, though.
losing weight. I'm losing muscle, so this ain't good.
Well, that's what part of Rock's secret.
Yeah.
Shout out to him wearing his shirt
That's right.
right now. We're getting that Under Armour, sporting Rock and Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I sport them. But part of his secret is he does the cardio. Like I think it's 35 to like 50 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Eats his oatmeal and like steak or some type of beef. Then does the weight training for like 90 minutes every morning, 6 days a week. So
That sounds good. That's
Yeah.
like our routine, basically, right, David?
yeah,
Yeah.
keep it simple.
So keep it simple, and you can look like us at our old age.
Yeah, exactly. One day, one day, you too.
So now, how did you
That's
meet
a-
Grant Skeldon?
Oh man, I think Felicia, which is
That's
another
right.
mutual friend of ours.
Felicia Benton.
Benton, shout out to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me to meet him as something else, and then we were at the same event together with April Bowman.
Yeah.
For her summer camp at SMU.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to her in the C4 camp. And Grant was like a panelist, and he told me I should apply to Initiative Network 72, and he was telling me about it. I'm like, yeah, dude, send me the information. And he messaged me on Facebook, and I applied, man. And it was a beautiful experience, and that definitely is what that diversity of all kinds of
Yes.
diverse, that's definitely what heaven's going to look like. So, miss it, man. I can't wait till they bring it back.
Yeah.
And I know he's got a different vision with it now, but even just to those meetups, those reunions will be cool. And speaking of Felicia, and y'all are working on something now, man, that I don't think enough people know about.
Yeah.
And I kind of want you to spill the beans, give them an exclusive.
Yeah. I can do that. This is a passion of me and Felicia Benton's and several other people involved in the community. So have you ever heard of the Best Southwest?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that's like, from my understanding, Lancaster, DeSoto, Cedar Hill, Duncanville,
Yep.
Red Oak. It's 11 total. according
Yeah, it
to,
started out,
Carl
it's about
Sherman,
30 years old. It started out the 4 major cities that you just mentioned. So it's Southern Dallas
And
County
expanded.
and now Northern Ellis County, about 11 cities. And it basically came together to talk about infrastructure and transportation, because when we come
Okay.
together as multiple cities, we can fight for tax dollars better and allocate funds smarter, wiser. But we noticed over the years, too, a lot of the millennials, as they go away, graduate high school and go to college, do they really come back? Or they want to go to Uptown if they come back to Dallas.
Right.
But how do we bring some of the youth back to town,
Back
and
south.
or the youth that are here, how do we get them engaged and involved? And a
good.
lot of people, like we talked about earlier, we were in high school, we don't know anything about politics. And well, number one, why would we? I think we're trying to pass our tests and figure out our social lives and date and extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So we found a need, and it took about 4 years. And you know how you get different people on boards and committees, and everybody has different thoughts and ideas. And it took about 4 years, 4 years
to flush that out.
to actually flush it out and get this approved under the umbrella of the Best Southwest. So we have called our program, it's a a leadership program for millennials. It's called Emerging Leaders. And this is for people who, what does it mean? What happens at a city council meeting? What does the school board really do? Who are the business community?
And that's what we've been needing, man. So, so it's kind of like what I'm talking to you about, asking you about, to advise the younger generation on, like, how do you ask the right questions? How do you find out what all goes on in politics? What does it take to run your city? Where does the funding come from?
Yeah, anything from the potholes to the garbage. Absolutely. Anything in the city, how stuff gets funded. And so we start right now, we're meeting on a quarterly basis. I think we're about right at a year old. And the first part was to build community. So we just want to have happy hours, bring people together, have fun. And from that, we've learned through organic, even though we didn't have official focus groups, but organic focus groups, here's what we want. And what we're finding too, a lot of the millennials and the young emerging leaders want mentorship. I know my mayor, but how do I even get to be an elected official one day? Or how do I get to be a business owner? So a lot of people don't even have access. I don't care what part of town you're from, socioeconomic, there's plenty of people who don't have access to business owners, your elected officials. So that's what we want to train you, not only give you the access, but let's train you when you go in a room. How do you network? How do you shake hands? How do you introduce yourself to people? How do you make sure you come away with 10 business cards or 10 new contacts? Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do specifically in the best Southwest.
Oh man!
And I think you've been to a couple of those, and if not, we need to get you. We need to get you to more. In fact, I think I'm going to talk you into co-hosting something right now tonight.
Hey man, I got you. I've enjoyed myself each time, and you know me, I love networking. I feel like you're a natural. I've been done to master networker, but it's really, I just love meeting new people, and I truly feel there's a blessing in every connection.
Yes.
And it's just up to us to follow up and follow through to actually make those blessings come to fruition. But I also understand that any and everybody can be a mentor potentially. So for me, the more people I meet, the more lengthy my roster gets of prospective mentors like yourself to connect to those watching in our audience today, because I wish someone was looking out for me when I was pre-college and trying to connect me with who I want to become ultimately, and so that I didn't think the only successful people out here were your entertainers and pro athletes.
That's right.
Like society tries to depict. So definitely, man, I've enjoyed what you're doing with Best Southwest. So shout out to you and Felicia and everybody else involved with that. Along with Corey is his name, the president, the actual Best Southwest.
No, we don't have any actual people with titles.
Okay.
So I'm not sure who you're talking about.
Your friend, the organization, the Best Southwest president.
Yes, I'm sorry, Corey Lacey. Yes, he is.
Okay, it made me think. I was like, man,
thank you.
Wrong name. I got. Is it Corey?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the emerging leaders.
Corey Lacey.
Yeah.
Like no, we're leaders without titles out here.
That's right. Yeah, Corey's executive director of the Best Southwest organization.
Okay,
correct.
Yeah. Shout out to him, and so that's kind of in partnership in conjunction with the organization, correct?
Yeah, the emerging leaders is under the Best Southwest umbrella. It is for people between 18 to we'll say 45ish, 40ish, early 40s.
Yeah, whatever age you are, man, that's where we'll cut it off.
Well, that's
we'll
cap
it off there.
It took 4 years, so I was 40 when we started it, and it took 4 years to get it. Well, I was 39. So I kept telling everybody, we got to hurry up and make this official, because I'm going to age myself out of it. So technically, at some point, I'm going to have to just say, bye, guys. I'm too old to show up.
I helped you get it started. Now y'all take this and run with it. Y'all are young professionals. I'm a middle-aged professional now. But it's okay, man. We'll still let you around.
I hope.
As an honorary, brother.
I'll be in the corner.
You have a youthful spirit. I saw the shoes and the socks, man. Y'all can't see right now, but he keeps. That's why I hope. I hope to model myself after Michael Flusche, ladies and gentlemen, because he's solid all the way around in that youthful vibrance.
That's right.
You're giving me hope, man.
You could do a lot worse, David.
I could. I really could. But I choose not to, man. So to back it up just a little bit, you majored in PR, public relations at UTA?
Yes, sir.
And you had a PR firm coming out of college.
Yeah, originally I
So-
started, my first major was architecture. Then I went to economics, and then I finally thought, okay, I need to just get out of college. Let me do PR.
let me pick something
Um,
so I can graduate.
Yeah, and I graduated, I can't remember, right after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And that was every major company let go of their PR, marketing, advertising, whatever they called it. So I
Man.
just started knocking on doors and calling contacts and saying, hey, I got a PR degree. I'm ready to, what can I do to get you in the newspaper, magazines? And it just started with some family, relatives who own businesses, and then some friends of friends. And eventually started doing PR for some small to mid-sized businesses and various different industries. And I had to go try to become an expert in their industries and figure out what publications they needed to be in for their specific niche. And it
So
was
so then you're talking marketing as a whole then.
yeah, everything.
And-
It could
and-
be a publication, a newspaper. Facebook was
social
two,
media
2008, and then Instagram later. So
06.
the old school PR was more newspapers, magazines, your actual local newscasters, those kind of things. And then the
Right,
social
but-
media came in 2008 and later.
But you still had to like transition to keep up with the times.
Oh yeah,
right?
absolutely. There was no question.
And you still kind of use that in your position today.
Oh,
you say?
absolutely, yeah.
And so that's why, just like politics, I feel like PR marketing is involved in everything you do because you are your brand personally and
Yeah.
professionally, and so you're always promoting something. It's just whether or not it's the right message you want
Yeah.
to put out there is on you, but
Correct. Yeah.
you're promoting whether or not you're trying to
Yeah.
or not. And even when you're saying no, I'm
Yeah.
not posting anything. I'm not putting anything out
Yeah.
there for the world. Yeah, you're sending a message by
Yeah.
doing that.
Well, whether you're a business person, a stay-at-home parent, retiree, you're promoting whether it's the food you're eating tonight or where you're going tomorrow.
True.
It's a fundraiser, a charity, an elected official. So to me, yeah, that's what I love. Social media is free. More people need to use it, and especially with what
Yeah,
we're
use
going
it
through
for the
now
right
with COVID-19, if you're not digital,
For some people.
your business is going to close.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And so you're seeing it kind of come full circle because I know you talk about fundraising and charities now, but I imagine going door to door, knocking, looking for those PR opportunities, along with volunteering in the community. That's how you got your start. And how did you even go about doing it? Because a lot of
Yeah.
young people, I know the Breakfast Club host, Charlemagne, the guy talks about how his first job, his first like career launching job was on the Wendy Williams show, radio
Yep,
show,
that's right.
as co-host. And he spent his entire first year, a little bit over, working with her for free. Like,
That's right.
not getting paid. And I was explaining a few principles to some of my mentees earlier today, actually, because everybody's like, "But man, that doesn't pay nothing. That opportunity's not enough." Like, but it's an opportunity for you to have your own business. It's an opportunity for you to meet the right people and get your network strengthened, so
Yes.
that you can get that next opportunity to the next level. It's also an opportunity for you to build your brand up and expose your brand so that people want to hire you and pay you what you're looking for. It's like, but I can't work for free. And Charlemagne was literally saying how the millennials are messed up in that we expect to get paid to start out.
Yeah.
And because you're right there on the cusp of both millennial and the generation above you. How did you leverage volunteering or community service to kind of cement your path to or
Yeah.
get you to where you are now?
It was a little bit of both. My dad made me had a job after I graduated high school, so I had to figure out where I
Absolutely.
could volunteer between the day job. And like any regular kid, I had a bunch of different jobs, got fired here or there, and so I had
yeah.
to figure
Yeah,
out.
learning lessons.
But it was the volunteer work where I met the most incredible people of all different
Yeah.
levels. But it was, and this is what I tell
Same,
people of all
same.
ages, not just millennials. You have to show up. Just show up. And then once
Yeah.
you show up, people start liking you. And then after they like you, then they trust you. And it's not, they have to like
Ooh,
you
that's
first
good.
and then trust you.
Keep showing up.
Because why am I going to do something for you if I don't trust you? Are you going to follow through? Is your service or product any good? I ain't recommending you to nobody until I actually like you, and then I trust you. And you don't earn that until you have to show up.
Show up first.
So I don't care what age you are,
keep
show
showing
up.
Yeah,
You
Grant
could be
Cardone
brand new.
talks about that. Gary Vee, a lot of those guys who we know because they're marketing gurus, essentially. It's like it's not the best product that wins in this day and age.
Correct.
In this social media it's about who do you know best, who
Oh,
keeps showing up, who do you keep seeing, because that's who's going to win. That's who you're going to trust.
Correct.
So yeah, man, that's a powerful message. And do you see that showing up is what got you to those opportunities, those connections that put you in a position because working for a senator is a big deal. It's no small matter, man. No small
I appreciate
feat.
that. But I think no matter what your industry or where you're going, there's always going to be bigger, brighter, faster, richer. So to me, by showing up, it's just like your shirt says. What's your shirt say, David? The hardest worker in the room?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you don't show up, how are you going to work?
Can't.
So
Not
to
possible.
me, people
Work from
see,
home.
and especially since you go after the youth and the millennials and teach leadership and mentorship, you got to show up. I want to make sure, do you have the drive? Are you going to just show up every day, whatever time it is? Okay, well, you know what? That's half the battle. I can train you. I can teach you. But are you there?
Everything else.
Are you just going to show up?
And keep showing up
Yeah.
consistently.
And that's the same. I don't care what age you are. Your boss wants to know, are you going to show up? You know, and then the rest of it's personality and some know-how. But just show up. The rest will happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So would you say volunteering combined with marketing prepared you for where you are today?
I'd say more for me, it was more of the volunteering, which turned into because a lot of the volunteer work I've done, whether it's marketing, fundraising, campaign management, strategy.
Okay, so that's important too. Not you use your skills and talents as a part of the volunteering you're doing. So you were giving out your services first.
Yeah, correct. And it didn't happen that way. This was my passion. I volunteered in political campaigns. And then over the years, people, you own your own PR company. Well, you know what? I need help with speech writing. I need some crisis communication strategy points because, everybody gets in trouble and not everybody knows how to deal with the media if it's a negative issue. You only want to talk to the media when it's positive. And then it turned into actual, campaign strategy, campaign management. Hey, you're good at fundraising. You've been raising tons of money for these charities and ministries and nonprofits. Now come raise money for me. And then it turned into somebody started offering me pennies, then nickels, then a few dimes and quarters, then actual real paper money. And then I was like, oh, I can actually make a living at this.
You make a real living.
To actually make money at what was my hobby, what still is my hobby and my passion, to me is a miracle that I get to live out each and every day.
Yeah, that's a huge blessing, man. And so appreciate you even sharing that, because a lot of people do assume that it just happens, or that there is, you just start getting paid what you asked for right up front.
Well, that's why I had my real job. I had my job that paid the bills, and then I volunteered.
Another important point. Don't miss that, y'all. He didn't just up and leave what was paying his bills. Because it's hard to be homeless and volunteering your services, because you can't show up if you don't have enough gas money to get there.
That's right.
Or if you don't have a place to.
Yeah, there were plenty of things I had to say no to because I did have the paying job. But it just I just is what it is, and this is how it worked out.
Hey, man. Well, I'm glad it worked out this way, man, so you could be here sharing your success story with us instead of still wondering what would have happened if you had shown up, like so many people are out there doing. So any advice that you would give to our audience watching, we have all age range, but predominantly the youth and millennials, what advice would you give to them when it comes to politics, especially? I know you said it's like your ministry.
Educate yourself. Know why you believe what you believe. Go read the party platforms. read our founding fathers' documents, the United States Constitution.
Yes, please.
Ca-
Read the Constitution.
Reach out to me. Reach out to David. I will put you. I tell people
I'm
all the
gonna
time
send
I
you to
meet.
him.
If you're a Republican, if you think you're a Democrat or whatever, I'll put you in front of those people. I'm here.
Yeah.
I want you vote. If you're going to vote, be an educated voter.
Bingo. And just vote.
So to me,
period.
now I'd rather you vote more than one way. But hey, if you're
Yeah.
not that way, then here's 5 other people you need to go talk to. So,
Absolutely, which is a great
Yeah.
thing. And not
but
many
ask
people are willing
ask
to
questions.
do that.
Do not be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, and if once you get past the fear of asking questions, you unlock so much
Yeah.
wealth of knowledge and resources that I just like with volunteering. On the other side of volunteering are so many opportunities that you wouldn't have normally
Yeah.
been privy to. You wouldn't have had that access. Somebody wouldn't have opened the door for you had you not done it, because you're not a threat. You genuinely, just like asking questions, you genuinely just want to know. You genuinely wanting to learn more, improve yourself, improve your community.
Yep.
So much is unlocked just by doing it for the right reasons.
That's right.
And so I think you are somebody that a lot of people need to look to for being a valuable wealth of knowledge in political arena, but also a valuable resource, regardless of where you're standing political party-wise. I think you're expressing, like, hey, I don't just know people who are the same party as me, which I think a lot of us would be far better off if we knew people from both political parties instead of all of our friends' network.
Yes,
our
exactly.
friend network being one, either liberal or conservative. That's it. And I think that does a lot more damage than good in our communities.
I agree.
Or your network is just like you if you don't care about politics at all, and everybody around you doesn't care, and then you complaining when the decisions
Yes.
are made, but you didn't vote, or nobody around you voted to help make those decisions, or vote the people in
Yeah.
who think like you or agree with your values to make those decisions that you. So appreciate you being in the forefront of actually being about business doing, and not saying everybody has to agree
Yeah,
with
correct.
wherever you stand, or we don't even have to agree, but I appreciate you being a friend that I can go to, brother, and
Oh, absolutely.
and seek that wise counsel, man, whether I agree with it or not. As well as I appreciate you sharing my birthday. That's
Yeah, we can't forget that.
it's important. It's important that happened this way, man, because we wouldn't have known. This is why we shared that
That's right.
the common bond of greatness. We knew it was
right.
something. We knew it was something.
Yeah. Now we know what it is.
and you almost won. You almost beat me as a Kingdom Connector, 72 Nation Network. I'm always bring that up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost.
just know that he almost won, y'all. He almost won. You know,
But I
it's
did
ba-
win
It's,
the
it's
arm
basically
wrestling
like I beat a
contest.
senator. That's basically what I'm saying. It's basically like I was elected. I just want that to be for the record.
That's exactly
Before
what you did. Yeah.
it's right now. It's 10:32 p.m. I'm turning 32 midnight. So I just want, for the record, clarification.
Yeah.
It's basically like I beat the Senator Michael Flusche, ladies and
There you
gentlemen. And I just want that to be on the record, man. But I seriously appreciate your time, and I have 2 bonus questions, bonus round.
What's that?
Maybe three, but no, just 2.
Okay, good.
First is, of course, this is MentorConnector podcast. So I need to know, who are some of your most impactful or most influential mentors that helped you to become who you are, help mold you, and get you to the point where you are in life today? Who are some of you, either growing up,
Yeah,
your
several of
upbringing, or
them.
right now?
Several of them in the DeSoto community: Gordon Faber, Patricia Coleman,
Oh, nice.
Marjorie Ford. Now,
Hey,
Rafael Cruz, Ted's father, is somebody who I love. He's that kind of person you could just sit at his feet and listen to him talk for
Right,
4 or
well
5
put.
hours, and it goes by like 5 minutes. And his knowledge is absolutely incredible of history, politics, the Bible. just unbelievable.
All the people you named, they're local individuals.
Yes.
All right.
But if I thought about it harder, I could probably name off 20 people in different communities.
And
Like
that's good.
I
Mark
love
Cuban
me
said
some.
we're not supposed to have only one.
I love me
not
some
supposed to be monogamous.
Correct. I got to give a shout out to Diane Gibson. Keeps me connected.
Oh yeah. Miss Community, right?
That's right, Miss Community. Grant Skeldon is unbelievable. I love having. If you look at my friends or mentors, I have such an eclectic group of people.
Yeah, man.
And to me, that's
Older, younger, all that.
I don't want to be around people who look and think and act just like me. How do I?
Yeah.
This is what challenges me. It keeps me active. It makes me think. It keeps me connected. Opens doors. It might close a few doors too, but that's okay.
It's all right. That's all right. Those doors are meant to be closed.
Yeah.
So I see the right ones that are open. Mm-hmm. So you mean it's okay to be a believer and have friends that are of diverse backgrounds, walks of life, even belief systems? What?
Well, when I know who I am, I could go in any room and be just fine.
Bingo. That's hugely important. And so I think that's what I'm trying to be more comfortable in at 32. So it's good to see my fast forward. So what it's going to look like 12 years from now when I'm your age, and I hope I will have already learned that lesson.
Yeah. It doesn't make it easier, or it doesn't always get easier when people are yelling and screaming at you. But you know what? It's okay. I can't be friends with everybody, and I can't. That's true leadership.
What should you want?
Isn't friendship. Leaders cannot be friends with everybody. It can't make everybody happy.
That's good. That's a nugget. Nugget. And we have so many people who misconstrue what leadership is, and think you got to win over everyone, got to gain the favor with the people. And like, no, because then you'll be all over the place. You can't guide them if you're not laser focused. You do listen to the people, taking into consideration their concerns. But ultimately, they're looking for you to make that final decision.
Yeah. But I gotta, when you talk about mentors and what it looked like for me or what it looks like for other people, Grant Skeldon has a great way of saying it. Jesus didn't tell his 12 disciples, meet me at Starbucks at 8:00 every Tuesday. He said, come and follow me. Live life with me. And that's what a lot of people who became mentors were mentors for different reasons, different aspects of life or business. But I just showed up, we became friends, and I learned through osmosis and just organically, this person is an expert in this. I like it. I may disagree with them on 5 other things, but you know what? They know their stuff on this issue.
Bingo.
And
that's how Mark Cuban said you're supposed to.
Ended up mentoring, menteeing each other back and forth. Didn't even know it. It just happened. And then I'm like, this person's been a mentor. Yes, sir.
And every effective relationship, friendship really is about being every mentorship is a mentor-mentee. You should both be learning from each other.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And last question would be, since we're here at Geek Leads Esports Arena, in the wonderful world of innovation here with esports, when it comes to professional gaming, not saying you have experience as a professional gamer, but I am saying and want to ask, what is your best moments or experience, fondest memories of gaming growing up?
Okay, good. Thanks for saving me growing up. My parents still have their original Atari that has to be, I don't know. It was the one that had I don't remember what, Pong or
I didn't
played
get to
tennis.
play Atari that much. Yeah,
but I remember it took me I don't remember what grade I was in when Nintendo came out, but my dad made me mow the yard and a few neighbors' yards for the whole summer, and I had to use that money to buy the Nintendo. And I remember I bought The Legend of Zelda and Mario Brothers, but before it was Super Mario Brothers, it was just Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And of course, the games today, I can't even play because they're so 3D. I keep falling off the road, or I can't.
They look too realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, did you ever play with your friends? Was ever bonding moments where you invited friends over, you went over their house, that type of thing?
Constantly. Of course, but I grew up, and even it wasn't that long ago, as long as I was home by sunset, it didn't matter. Yeah. We were, as boys, we were down, there was a creek. We'd play football. We'd be down in the creek fishing, digging stuff up. We riding bikes, playing in the trees, playing like we were
all that great
cops.
outdoors.
Yeah, we thought we were GI Joe and killing each other, Mortal Kombat, whatever. So yeah, that was lots of fun. Coming home sweaty and dirty and stinky.
And then would play the game together sometimes.
Yeah.
See.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
See, man.
But that was when it was a 2-player game and you had to play in person. There was no playing online or whatever on the computer. I didn't have computers back then. Nintendo was the closest thing to a computer I had.
Yeah, and that's crazy now that you can be anywhere and play your best friends. No
Exactly.
more sleepover necessary. And so, lastly, brother, just let the people know how can they get in touch with you, be a part of what your movements are, whether they want to follow you personally or they want to be a part of the Best Southwest and all that you're doing with emerging leaders. How do we contact Michael Anthony Flusche?
Well, number one, you can Google me. My name and number is out there.
He's Googleable.
Yeah, I'm Googleable. Googleable. So on Facebook and Instagram, I'm Michael Anthony Flusche. On Twitter, I'm Michael Flusche. But trust me, if you just Google my name and Michael Flusche, Dallas, my cell phone, my emails pop up. I'm out there. Just call David. He'll tell you to call me.
I'll help you find him right away, especially if you're looking to, jump him or something. I got you.
That's right.
He might take you, though. He might take all y'all. Definitely. If they want to be a part of the Best Southwest Emerging Leaders.
Oh, yeah. The Best Southwest Partnership is the page. And then just send a message through that.
Okay. Just saying, expressing interest. And if they want to be, attend the happy hours or whatnot.
Yeah, the website, Best Southwest Partnership.
Okay. Perfect.
Or the Facebook page.
Perfect, man. Anything else you want? Final message for the people? Any other future projects you got in the works that you want to share?
Oh, I've got too many projects I'm working on. I love me some King David Reeves, and thanks for letting me sit across from you for a good hour and a half.
Yeah, man. No, it's only been an hour. We kept it under an hour. We did this.
Okay.
We're moving into the next year of our lives being time efficient. Yeah, we're literally right at 1 hour. Bam. Well, brother, thank you for coming on the Mentor Connector podcast, man. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Here in an hour and a half. Appreciate that, man. It's cool to say this is my birthday twin, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a solid brother. Hope you learned something today, and you definitely need to stay plugged in with all he has going on and take what you learned today to give you a new perspective on politics. And it's not saying believe or agree with either one of our political views, but it is saying that you need to find out what yours are. And that's what message I hope you got out of this. And politics is in a little bit of everything. So it can be what Michael's using it for is his ministry, to help people understand what all entails politics, or what all politics ties into. But it also can be the confusion that, if you allow it to be, if you just listen to what the media portrays, if we just hear one side of any story. So please hear both sides, figure out what's best for you, what suits you best. And if you can't do that for yourself, plug into Michael Flusche's pages. Follow him. Ask him. He'll give you the honest truth. And even if you don't like it, he'll refer you to somebody you may like. So, again, brother, thank you for coming on the show today. And this has definitely been another Geekly Esports Masterclass here on the Mentor Connector podcast. And I truly enjoyed this with my birthday twin. Thank y'all for tuning in. We love y'all, and we'll see you later.
Coming to you live from Geekly Studios in DeSoto,